Welcome back to Brosby TV. Brooke and Crosby here. And on tonight's episode, we're going to be discussing the power struggle between black male and female rappers in the 90s and the impact they saw socially. We're going to be looking at artists such as Yo-Yo, Dr. Dre and Snoop Dogg, and Queen Latifah, and analyzing their lyrics and their impact on the social climate in the 90s. First, we have Yo-Yo's 1991 hit, You Can't Play With My Yo-Yo.
Category.
My name is Yo-Yo. I'm not a one more. I like to flow so swift. It's got to be a gift. So yo, let the beat live as I rip and rhyme and rap and slap all the girls who can't adapt to the fact I hit the 8-ball often. The earrings I wear are called dolphins. Check the booty. Yo, it's kind of soft, and if you touch it, you're living in a coffin.
Word of mouth.
She opens the song with, My name is Yo-Yo, I'm not a hoe. So she's openly contradicting the stereotype that was placed upon all black women in the 90s. She then says, check the booty, yo, it's kinda soft, and if you touch, you living in a coffin. By her saying this, she's sending a message to all men that engage in catcalling and touching women inappropriately without their consent, that she won't stand for it. She's also sending a message to black women across America that it's okay to have a problem with a man grabbing them inappropriately. So many women to this day let men act like that so as to not make a scene, but Yo-Yo is telling them that it's perfectly okay to have an issue with this. She also says, I rock the mic, they say I'm not ladylike, but I'm a lady, who will pull a stunt though, I kill suckers and even hit the block, so what you want to do. She addresses the stigma of women behaving ladylike and soft in an almost annoyed way, saying she's still a lady, although some might not believe her to be. She doesn't really care. Her even in I kill suckers and even hit the block has more meaning than the surface allows. The even in that line is comparing herself to a man, as if to say, yeah, I do that too, just like men do, and I'm still a lady. So she's pushing back the boundaries on what a lady is actually like.
Next up, we have Dr. Dre's 1992 hit, Bitches Ain't Shit.
Bitches ain't shit but hoes and tricks. Lick on these nuts and suck the dick. Get the fuck out after ya done. Then I hops in my bitch to make a quick run.
In Dr. Dre's song, we can obviously hear the vulgarity of the lyrics very early on. He talks about having sex with women and immediately after expecting them to leave, insinuating that women are disposable and that once they've done their job they can go. Later in the song, he goes on to talk about women like they're objects, saying, we flip-flop and serve hoes like flapjacks. In this case, he's referring to him and his friends sharing women, having sex with them, and sending them on their way once the men are satisfied. In the last lyric of the clip, we hear, but we don't love them hoes. This is a pretty consistent theme across the board for many of the rap songs we analyzed, and that is that women are not trusted, and they don't deserve the emotional side of the physical love they give out.
Next, we have Queen Latifah's 1993 masterpiece, UNITY.
That's a unity. UNITY. Love a black man from Infinity to who you calling a bitch? UNITY. We gotta let them know. UNITY. Come on, here we go. UNITY. We gotta let them know. You ain't a bitch, you're a hoe. Here we go. UNITY. We gotta let them know. UNITY. Come on, here we go. UNITY. We gotta let them know. You ain't a bitch, you're a hoe.
She opens the song with a loud, who you calling a bitch, addressing the constant slander that black women have faced since the creation of this country, openly implying that the way women are addressed is not okay. Her lines, every time I hear a brother call a girl a bitch or a hoe, trying to make a sister feel low, you know all of that gots to go. Her use of the terms brother and sister here are incredibly important as she's equalizing them, talking about black men and women. Her main point here is, why would a black man put a black woman down? They've both been struggling the same struggle for centuries now.
One day I was walking down the block, I had my cut off shorts on, right, cause it was crazy hot. I walked past these dudes when they passed me. One of them felt my booty, he was nasty. I turned around red, somebody was catching a rat. Then the little one said,
Yeah, me, bitch.
and laughed. Since he was with his boys, he tried to break fly. I punched him dead in his eye and said, who you calling a
She raps very similarly to Yo-Yo about a man touching her inappropriately and what she did to him. Here we have another woman speaking out against male actions and how a female is entitled to react.
To wrap it up, we have Snoop Dogg's 1993 hit, Ain't No Fun.
When I met you last night, baby, before you opened up your gap, I had a respect for your lady, but now I take it all back.
Snoop Dogg is notoriously one of the most explicit and demeaning rappers towards women in the 90s and still to this day. This entire song uses phrases like "opened up your gap" to refer to women's body parts that can be interpreted many different ways. No matter how the audience interprets it, it's demeaning either way. Snoop talks about having respect for a woman, but after she opens her mouth, he loses it for her. Typically, the audience has to use some context clues to confidently say that a rapper is stating he doesn't respect women, but Snoop Dogg does the work for us by saying it outright. During the 90s, police brutality was at an all-time high, really becoming more publicized with the beating of Rodney King. Naturally, black men were afraid for their lives and the lives of their loved ones, so the ones who had a platform big enough to be heard chose to rap about how strong and hard they were to make themselves seem untouchable and fearless. They wanted to put themselves above everyone, but while doing that, some rappers chose to bring women down in order to do so.
In the 90s, women saw plenty of backlash due to their sexuality and grew accustomed to derogative words such as bitch or hoe. We saw the Anita Hill and Clarence Thomas hearings and how she was accused of lying, or the typical term we hear, she was asking for it. Female artists such as Yo-Yo, Queen Latifah, Missy Elliott, and many others used their platform to fight back against the male artists that were constantly rapping about them and sexualizing them. These artists pushed the boundaries of what it meant to be a lady, and they used their music to empower women across the country. They took back their sexuality and stood up for themselves. They laid the foundation for black female rappers today like Cardi B and Nicki Minaj. Without these women, the 90s would have looked incredibly different for black women in America.